Who would be the Anthony Fauci of climate change? Who would that voice be today?
Well, it depends on, again.
It's not NIH. It's not going to be CDC. Who's that person going to be?
Who's leading the Paris Climate Accord?
Well, you have John Kerry and Gina McCarthy are in the Biden administration. So John Kerry is the sort of the international climate envoy, and then you have Gina McCarthy, who's like the domestic one.
And wasn't Kerry also the head of the Iran nuclear deal?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, so
he's doing climate and nuclear.
And John Kerry, he's the perfect spokesman for this. But John Kerry, he comes off. He doesn't do the cause any good for the climate movement. But it comes, and I have a whole chapter in my new book on this whole idea of credentialed scientists and the whole process. And essentially, what they do is they're using science as a lobbying tool. Mm-hmm. And I think it was Thomas Sowell whose famous quote was, science, government science, or they bring in the science to support decisions already made by bureaucrats, essentially, or by government. And that's what they do. It's very easy to find any position you want when it comes to science like that. And you line up an administration. I'll give you a case in point. Biden has an EPA advisory board that was there. They didn't like any of the Trump appointees, so I think they're getting rid of like 50 plus of these scientists, because they wouldn't agree with Biden's view on climate and environment. So once they get rid of them, within a year, when Biden proposes a new Environmental Protection Agency climate rule, they can credibly say, there wasn't any dissent, and 100% of our scientists all agreed with it. Well, if you'd been paying attention a year ago, they just eliminated a third of the scientists because they knew they wouldn't agree. They just removed them from the board. This is how they create science consensus. You have these National Academy of Science, the American Meteorological, the American Geophysical Union. Look at this. They came out with a statement in support of Al Gore in the UN. Tens of thousands of scientists endorsed the view that climate is causing harm. Oh, really? It was a governing board of 24 or so elected officials voted without direct vote or input of the members, the tens of thousands of members of these groups. In the case of the American Meteorological Society, there were studies that up to 75% at one point were skeptical of man-made climate change, at least 50. But it didn't matter because the 24 governing board members steeped in politics, lobbying, and government connections voted that we agree with the UN Al Gore view. And so that whole organization, there's another one of the consensus. Can these thousands of scientists be wrong? That was the whole point of the way. It's just about stopping debate, stopping stuff, so that we have to accept the premise, and then we have to accept their forced, rushed solution because we don't have time to act. We're running out of time.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.